Okay. Game sounded fine to me. Welcome back. Diablo 3, whatever,
For
whatever.
a long time, Uncle Deckard avoided coming back to this place. There were a lot of ghosts here for him. This is where Diablo drove old King Leoric mad and terrorized the people. I don't know what really happened here, but whatever it was horrible. Nearly everyone who survived went mad.
Characters with a little icon above their head just mean that it's a new piece of dialogue. So you can go to challenges, and I looked at it last time with like the triumphs and all that. You can look at all this stuff and more than stories. Like you can listen to all the characters' dialogues and all that. Uh, Spoilers. Shoot, I just realized that. Anyway, bag. I forgot to do it. Quests tab. You can re-listen to all the books and stuff you picked up, as well as listen to Bestiary.
I will never forget the first time I saw these horrors shambling out of the misty woods. Our loved ones, buried long ago, rose from their graves and began to attack the living. However, the risen dead were only the beginning. I, Deckard Cain, have spent many years traveling and writing about the strange creatures in our world. But the sight of the wretched mothers still haunts me. They are the remnants of Queen Asilla's slaughtered handmaidens who were twisted by foul magic. Now they feast upon cadavers and regurgitate them as newly formed, risen dead.
Dear reader, I am Abd al-Hazir, adventurer, scholar, and researcher. I share my knowledge of this incredible world and its creatures through my insightful missives, often at grave risk to myself. Why, I was recently in Honduras, where my tents were ransacked by vicious quill fiends. I was able to beat them off with a shoe, but a less bold man would have fared far worse.
So there's a couple different readers for the Bestiary, and as well as like some dialogues you don't actually fully get. Like I don't have one for the zombie, but if it is, I guess if it's abnormal in nature, demonic, like if one of the primevals summoned it, or basically if it's otherworldly or demonic, Deckard Cain will give you the description. He'll normally give you a little bit of lore and history about the character, what happened to them or why they were there or whatnot. Things that are like basic world creatures, you'll get Abdal Hazar. I don't know how to actually pronounce his name, but he doesn't give you as much detailing. Oh crap! I just realized I don't get one of the book dialogues because I'm not playing as the Crusader. You get a couple special. Oh no, yeah, you can still get them. You get special dialogue if you're playing as the Crusader because that was, the DLC was added.
Thank you for your help, but could you talk some sense into Leah? She won't give up on the idea of rescuing her uncle.
Nor should she. I will help her find him.
Anyway, completed the quest. You usually, if you complete a little side objective, you normally get pretty decent items. Anyway, Rumford has some dialogues.
When Leah told us the dead were pouring out of the cathedral, we quickly went to put an end to it. At first, it seemed we were succeeding, but they just kept coming. We were overcome. Captain Dalton and the men fought valiantly. They protected me. I am no soldier. I was a farmer. I should not have been out there with them. I do not know how I made it back here. None of the others did. And now, somehow, I'm supposed to lead the militia.
You have to keep an eye on that, but I don't know if I want her to move specifically when I talk or if I make any noise. So I'm gonna right now keep her as moving only when I talk.
I volunteered to help because it seemed the right thing to do, but I'm no leader of men.
Perhaps you are more of a leader than you think.
That's a simple thing for you to say. You were born to fight monsters like the risen dead. Me? I'm just a farmer.
Come, let us search for your uncle.
We'll need to open the cathedral first. The guards locked it up before they were ambushed. Rumford told me they fought their way back to Adria's hut. The key must still be there.
Anyway, little temporary follower.
A fire will carve a furrow in the sky, and this shall be a sign unto you that the end is come.
I guess this is my first example of it. Well, second example, because I think you start with a... Do you start with any? I think you start with a class-specific item. Some items can only be used by certain classes. So this can only be used by a Crusader. Okay, I'm gonna go in here real quick.
You know it's not polite to go through other people's things, don't you?
Yeah, shut
We
up.
have come at last to Tristram's old cathedral. This is where Diablo, Lord of Terror, first corrupted mankind. This is where I may finally find the answers I seek. Leah worries after my safety, but I believe information vital to defeating the last lords of the burning hells can be found here.
So some readable items do change depending on what part of the quest you're in.
A miracle has happened. A hero, like one out of Uncle Deckard's tales, appeared and saved us. I know in my heart that my uncle still lives, and I pray that the hero will bring him home safely.
Nope. More dialogue from Hadrig, which is a guy we haven't met yet.
It doesn't seem likely that Deckard Cain could have survived down in the cathedral this long, does it?
He is alive, and I will rescue him.
You seem quite sure of yourself. You know something I don't.
This dialogue you can't get in a first run. You have to come back and redo this because you get Hadrig later.
Here, let me open the gate.
Also want to point out, everything remains done when you beat the game or whatever, or when you like do stuff. But if you save, quit, and come back, everything will respawn. Nothing respawns until you save, quit, or close the game, or do whatever.
Adria was my mother, but I don't know much about her. She died when I was very young. I was raised by Uncle Deckard.
What about your father?
I'm told he was a great warrior who was lost when Tristram fell to the demons.
Including various things like the door, like we saw a couple shed doors, like there was one in the middle there, one at that hut, one in that building. There's a number of shed doors along the path here, the houses here. If you see a shed door, like one of like the underground cellars, like one of, let's go back for a split second. Oh, was that? No. Like this thing. Right here. This is a potential sub-dungeon. Like, not always, but sometimes, the door will be open and glowing and let you go into, like, a special room to get, like, items and stuff. Not every time. Some dungeons are rare. Well, some sub-dungeons. There is there are plenty of achievements to get on the... Holy shit, why can't I talk? There's plenty of achievements that are based on getting every type of, or every specific dungeon in an area.
Look, a hidden cellar. Follow me.
I think there was more to your mother than you know.
People said she was a witch, but I never believed it. Captain Dalton!
As they mentioned, zombies. This one is obnoxious. I'm gonna let him do his thing. So I can freeze things. So can he. That thing, of course, is little dots will appear on the ground, and you want to get out of the way before they explode.
Here's the key, and my mother's journal. What I've seen of it is disturbing. I want to know more about her, but that can wait. We need to save Uncle Deckard first.
I will search the cathedral. You stay here and learn what you can.
Thank you.
Aiden came to me last night. I suspected what was lurking within his troubled heart. I consoled him as best I could. Regardless, wherever he's headed, hell will surely follow in his wake. The shadows close in on Tristram once again. But like Aiden, I'll be gone before they fall.
How did your mother die?
Well, details are hazy, but I know that Adria was obsessed with chasing the arcane. She knew she could never raise a child. Uncle Deckard believes that the madness and horror of her life finally caught up with her.
Okay, what did I get there? I got a helmet. And a skill. Once you unlock a ruin for a specific skill, you can't look at the other ones, but you can look at the... Well, you can't look at the ruins for the other skills until you get at least one for it. But you can look at the level requirements for each of the ruins afterwards and what they do. Which is nice. Ray of Frost, Cold Blood reduces the cost down to 11 arcane power per second. And adds that little squiggly line onto it.
Need more time.
The red orbs I've been picking up heal you. This yellow orb will... I can't remember if it's double your damage or 1.5, but it boosts your damage.
Another unlucky villager.
This is a 50-50 event right here. If this can be a dungeon, or like one of the little sub-dungeons, if it isn't, zombies will appear out of the ground. If it is, then, you know, you go down and you fight things.
So this is Tristram's key. The fallen star is somewhere inside. Not ready yet.
I don't think there's anything else I can do. Enter Cathedral level 1. Which is an actual proper dungeon.
This must be where the star fell. Its crater is tinged with some strange magic.
Levels have traps. If you can kill enemies with a trap, you will gain a bonus called a trap kill, which lets you have double resource regeneration for, you know, increased amount of times depending on how many kills you get. So for 4, I got a minute. Nephilim Power doubles your attack damage for a chunk of time. Red orbs heal you. There is another... There's 3, like, time-based, like, do enough of something in a small chunk of time.
I will enjoy this.
There's 3 of them. There is get trap kills, which gets your resource regeneration. Kill more than 10 things in a small chunk of time. And then break 10, like, world items. Or a number of world items, like these candles and all that. Lots of kills gets you bonus XP. What is it? Trap kills get you the resource regeneration. And this gets you nothing, apparently. Breaking world items get you a speed boost. That would lower my attack by a bit. How many new attacks and or weapons and stuff? Yeah, like that. Longer the speed boost, or longer the little, the chain you get there, the, more speed you get. Oh, what? I already found it. I wasn't even aware the floor down off of level 1 can appear here like this. That's peculiar. Because this isn't usually like a lot of the dungeons in this game are just a labyrinth. They're just find where you gotta go. Are you okay over here, buddy? Just contemplating life?
My power grows.
Walk into a corner and there's just this big pudgy guy just staring at a wall. I almost feel bad about killing him, but...
Some foul new disease has taken hold in this land, and the carrion bats are near the heart of it. Since returning to Tristram, I have seen their numbers surge. The evil forces that linger here give them strength, and I fear that the worst is yet to come. The grotesques may seem slow and senseless, but they hide many dangers within their hideously malformed bodies. A set of spikes lurks beneath the monster's flesh, and foul parasites nest within them. It is said that these horrors themselves are constructed by a greater evil, a darkness that I cannot even fathom.
Okay. I am going to go over the all the bestiary stuff. I'm not going to really read any of the other stuff because the rest of the stuff you really... Like, you get to hear it when you actively read it the first time.
For many years.
But, I don't... Like, I'll read them because they don't pop up on their own.
Foul minions, stay back! Back! May this wedge hold. The Skeleton King?
The power of the fallen star awakened me, and soon all will suffer as I have suffered. Gods, bring me his bones!
Cain, I will save you!
Stay back!
I believe this is the first instance of it, but there's a bonus challenge here. This game does have a couple of them. There's a gold guy here, and then there's 4 little minions. If you are able to kill him specifically without killing any of the 4 minions, you'll get a challenge. I just tried to do it, but I'm not going to go on my way for any of them.
Oh, thank you. But why did you risk yourself for me?
You live. Fortune smiles on you, old man. I'm here to bring you back to Leah.
Oh, it is wonderful to hear that Leah is well. I feared the worst. I learned of this secret passage through old maps I found.
This can't be opened yet.
Oh, Jesus Christ, excuse me. That was not very polite.
We must discuss the fallen star. Follow me.
Avenging Oak Wand. Lowers my defenses a bit, and my healing capability. Oh, by quite a bit, but my attack power goes up a hefty amount. I'll take it. You don't usually need to care too much about the stats and stuff early on. It's only when you start to get like all your skills and get a build and do all that stuff. Because one of the best things about this game, one of the reasons I love it, unlike Diablo 2 where it had skill points, you're not locked into a specific like skill tree or anything like that.
I have fulfilled my promise to Leah and rescued her uncle, Deckard Cain. Now, all that stands between me and the fallen star is the Skeleton King, who has returned to darken Tristram once again.
I have half a mind to swap my hotkey for... Also, Hadrig's gone. Oh, wait a second. Okay, no. Yeah, the card's still there. This is a finicky section.
Uncle, you're alive!
Thanks to you and your friend here.
Our time is running short. What can you tell me about the fallen star?
Not much, I'm afraid, though the prophecy of the end days surely points to it as a sign that the end has begun.
Please, Uncle, not more of your stories. All that matters now is that you're back.
Okay, so right now... Oh, I got another thing I gotta talk about. Good. I got a catalyst, which lowers my defensive capabilities a bit because it's not a shield. So it doesn't grant any armor, but it does grant attack power. And usually grant you class bonuses. Do not talk to him right now, if you want to go for all the dialogues. Well, as many as you can.
Don't touch anything unless you're buying it. I like to keep my inventory clean.
Let's keep your inventory clean. It won't be clean when I spill your blood, you jerk! Okay, Oh. Okay. This lady is weird. This lady was introduced in the Crusader DLC, and I don't remember if she'll appear here if you've never stepped foot into adventure mode.
Jelsa, how sweet of you to ask. My people, the Vetchin, are nomads, always traveling, looking for the land we might settle. All of us have the sight, but few have it as strong as myself. You know, men have always pursued me for my visions. Well, for things other than my visions. But everyone wants to know what the future holds.
I know what my future holds. I have seen it written.
Can you not focus on anything but power and prophecy? Live a little in the here and now. It's all we have.
She's also very interesting because she actually will change her dialogue depending on what your character is. But I can't really show it off too much because I've already got her maxed out, so I'll do it with the other vendors when I can. But what she is she's kind of interesting. If you have an item that you do not like certain effects on, I think it specifically has to be gold or legendary. You can look at it, and you can look at a pool underneath that enchantment. So for poison damage, you know, it can turn into any of that stuff. For strength... Wait, what does... Oh, will strength not turn into any of the other stuff I want? No. I gotta show it off anyways, though. You can basically change stats on whatever you want. I guess I gotta show it off later because I'm not gonna waste the resources on that. You can also dye your items, which lets you change the color of your item. It costs a pretty penny to do this, but... And it's only specifically for that item. It's not that slot. You can also make your character look naked if you want. And you can transmogrify. Depending on what level she is, you can change the look of your armor. Including into legendary armors, but that costs a pretty penny. It costs 50,000 each. If you're on Switch, you get the Ganondorf set. You can make a character look like Ganondorf. Anyway, you gotta come all the way over here for this.
It's my wife. She's very ill.
I hope she recovers.
You do not get that dialogue if you talk to Deckard first.
Very interesting topic. I sell jewels.
Well, I suppose that could be interesting. What are you doing so far from Xiansai?
The women. Young ladies chasing me around day and night, begging for a kiss. I had to leave. It was the only honorable thing to do.
I somehow feel that you aren't being entirely truthful with me.
Truth? Never touch the stuff. You are very brave to venture outside the town gates. I hear there are all sorts of dangerous things crawling around out there.
If you consider the Walking Dead dangerous, then I suppose you are correct.
Oh, that's terrible. I only meant the rats and snakes. I do like this Deckard Cain fellow. It's rare that I can find someone I have so much in common with.
You two do not seem very similar.
We both had rather interesting experiences with the Zakharum priestesses in our youth, so...
I love Shen so much. Anyway, he's gem related. He's weird. I can't really do any of this stuff. But what you can do with him is, you can do with any vendor, you can train them. So if you look at his little shop, it's a bunch of like wooden stuff. You can give him money to upgrade his shop. You also, instead of just talking to him, you can interact with his stuff, but for the most part, you can give him money, and you learn new recipes. So I can now make a flawless diamond, but I can't with any of the other ones until I learn them. Gemstones, like Diablo 2, they'll just appear randomly. There's no harm in not leveling them up. Money is not... It's not really a highly sought after resource in this game. Anyway, can't get his last 2 levels because it requires an item I don't physically have. It requires an item called a Death Breath, which I don't have. Because I think you need to be a high enough level to get it.
I've spent most of my life traveling from place to place with Uncle Deckard while he did his crazy research.
What is he looking for?
He's convinced that the forces of hell will invade our world and bring about the end times. All these years, he's still searching for a way to stop this apocalypse.
What did you discover about your mother?
She wasn't from Tristram originally. She came here during the Troubles. She was in search of something, but I'm not sure what. She reminds me of Uncle Deckard, obsessed with the war between angels and demons.
The Skeleton King was once our beloved lord, Leoric. He was driven mad by Diablo's evil. He lost both of his sons and his very soul before he was finally defeated. Now it seems he's risen to plague this land once again.
Leoric's tale is sad, but I am here to find the fallen star, and the Skeleton King stands in my way.
The key to defeating him lies in his old crown. Seek out our blacksmith, Hadrig. He knows of its whereabouts. Leah, you should not dismiss the signs so lightly. Do you not believe the evidence of your own eyes?
Horrors have visited Tristram before, and it endured.
But what of the texts? The Zakharum tomes warn of a falling star. The Herodric scroll spoke of the dead rising, and the Lord of Lies, the prophecy of the end days, says that at the end of all things, the first sign shall appear in the heavens.
Yes, you've been telling me about the texts since I was 8 years old, Uncle. I just don't think we should read too much into them.
I am the last of the Herodrim. I couldn't always claim this. In fact, if I had turned to the Herodric teachings sooner, Diablo could have been stopped before his reign of terror began.
You can't truly believe that.
When the first signs appeared, I did nothing. I had shrugged the old tales off like they were so much fantasy. And Tristram, no, the world has paid dearly for my arrogance. I have tried to make up for my failings. Leah and I have spent her lifetime scouring the world, collecting pieces of the prophecy of the end days. If I can decipher it, we will have the key to defeating the Lords of Hell.
Also, yeah, I get that just a bunch of dialogue and stuff is not very entertaining to watch, but it's needed to fully enjoy the game. You don't need to ever do it, but it's just a little bit of extra lore. That's the joys of Let's Plays and all that, right? Is if you don't ever wish to play the game, I wish to be a source of, like, a full source of enjoyment for the game. That's usually it. Like, that's how I want it to be usually. Is have this be a nice alternative to you not playing the game. Because if you watch the first episode and you like it, you go out and get it, sure, that's fine. If you decide not to, but you still like the game, then, who am I to strip you away from the full experience?
I notice a great fondness between you and Leah.
I do not know what my life would have been like had I not raised her. Oh, it must have been difficult for Leah, following an old man on a mad search for the secrets to defeating the lords of the burning hells. But though she has seen her share of mysterious things, she is still unsure of my quest. I can understand. She has never seen anything like Diablo and his brothers. The prophecy of the end days is contained within the Herodric tomes I inherited from my ancestor, Jared Cain. It is a warning to those who could interpret it regarding Hell's ultimate invasion of our world, written by many different people throughout history, in many different lands. All known versions of the prophecy are incomplete. I have spent a good part of the past 20 years trying to complete it. I am certain it holds the answers to defeating the Lords of Hell.
I pause the recording, go downstairs and get more supplies to make myself another drink, come back, mute myself, thinking that I was, unpause the recording. I ain't that drunk, I've only had one drink, Jesus Christ. I am a lush, apparently. Is the term a lush if you can't drink? That's not, like, something really bad? I don't know.
You said Diablo drove Leoric mad.
Leoric resisted Diablo's attempts to possess him, but the effort left him weak and confused. When his son Albrecht was kidnapped to be a vessel for Diablo, it destroyed any sanity Leoric had left.
What happened after he became the Skeleton King?
He commanded an army of the dead deep within the cathedral, finally serving the Lord of Terror he had resisted while alive. Many adventurers tried and failed to slay the Skeleton King. It was left to Leoric's eldest son, Aiden, to finally kill the monster his father had become.
Many brave soldiers attempted to free her, but none prevailed. This thing, by the way, is useful, but you'll need it later. Or you'll be able to use it later. It identifies legendary items, which you can normally do one by one, but that just bulk does it.
Uncle Deckard is home, rescued from the clutches of the Skeleton King. I'm so glad. But the Skeleton King, I thought he was a folktale. The idea of Mad King Leoric returning to torture this place. Hasn't Tristram suffered enough?
No. Tristram must suffer at least 25 more times, because this is just it's just one of this world's many assholes, apparently. It just serves to get fucked non-stop.
The world is constantly renewing itself, eternally playing out the same events over and over again. We can merely play our parts.
Are you trying to confuse me?
I speak clearly. Do not blame me for the state of your mind.
Okay. I don't think Shen has... Yep, Shen has more to say.
You know, there's nothing in the world quite so perfect as jewels. They have color, size, shape, transparency.
Transparency?
Oh yes, if only I could eat them, I would need nothing else in life. Not that you can't. I hear some people even shape certain crystals atop their food.
I also want to point out, I think it was in the original version before the Eternal Collection, because I know 360 did it. These three vendors, Haedrig, Shen, and Miriam, they don't appear on your game until you find them in the story. Like Shen, you don't meet Shen until much later. Which, in a normal run of a game, gems and stuff, like Death's Breath and gems and all that will start to spawn once you're a certain level. So roughly around the level that you meet Shen is when you've already, only just after you've started to get gems, and he helps you with them a little bit. Miriam, you don't unlock until like the first quarter of the DLC, which is Act 5. Because remember, with Diablo 2, you have to go on an act system, Act 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, you don't meet her until Act 5. And Haedrig, you meet here, have to play a little bit longer before you get to actually have him as a smith.
Blacksmith. Deckard Cain said you could help me find the crown of Leoric.
Not now. It's my wife. She's locked in the cellar like all those who've been bitten. I'm to put them all down. But how can I kill my own wife?
I know it will be difficult, but she would want you to do it. I will help you.
Thank you. Follow me. I'm sorry.
You are helping them. You don't need to be sorry.
Depends on what you're looking at as help.
Mira, my love, forgive me.
I guess you're freeing them from a lifetime of pain. Or a painful death, rather. Anyway, I mentioned before about there being a bonus objective. Haedrig here will help you fight her. He'll swing upon her. If you let him get the final blow, which I did not just do there, flail is for Crusaders. I did not let him there, but I already have it. If you let him get the final blow on her, you get one of the achievements.
I couldn't have done this without you. I'm in your debt. My name is Haedrig Aemon.
Well, Haedrig, Deckard Cain told me you know where Leoric's crown is.
I can help you there. It's buried with his Chancellor, my grandfather. You'll find his tomb in a cemetery in the Weeping Hollow. And if you see my fool apprentice out there, tell him to get back to town.
Anyway, upgrade for my other A button, explosive bursts or whatever. Yeah, if they die to it, they'll explode, dealing damage to people around them, but change its weapon damage from lightning to cold. I also got an X button, which does this, which is a big AoE. Find the cemetery. Cemetery is always at the top of this area. Damn. Nope, anyway.
Scavengers are ugly, pathetic creatures who survive off of carrion and corpses, too diseased to attract any other carnivores. I did once meet a raggedy fellow who claimed that he had trained one of the beasts to bring him large rats to eat. But I'm sure the story is utter nonsense.
They're also known as the most annoying fucking enemy in Diablo 2. I hate them with all my goddamn heart. Because they submerge underground. Also, Nephilim Glory, which is the double damage thing, will cause your attacks to chain to other enemies. Nope, and I can't read the description from there.
During the last days of King Leoric's reign, even the skeletons of the ancient dead could not rest. They took up their broken armor and weapons once more, ready to cut down anything that yet drew breath. Though wasted and fragile, these creatures possess a twisted cleverness that makes them quite formidable.
Okay. Yeah. This is also an interesting thing. These enemies have different names now. They're no longer, like, Walking Dead or whatever. Including the Wretched Cadaver instead of, you know, Wretched Mother.
I am unstoppable.
Enemies as you progress through the game will change their name, but they're usually the same enemy.
A foe worth killing. How does that feel? Not ready yet.
Got everything that moves. Yellow well there gets you bonus XP. I don't know how it works, because it's weird.
Hadrig's apprentice is dead. I should tell him. My knowledge increases. Still waiting.
Whatever that moves.
Not ready yet. I don't have enough arcane power.
Keep the chain going.
I am unstoppable. Need more time.
Yeah, to keep the Cain going. Good job. You have to continuously be damaging enemies.
Still waiting. Your defenses are nothing.
No. Okay, graveyard.
If my old masters could see me
No.
now.
And I can go and kill those enemies, but this area right now is probably the best place to get the an achievement, which is destroy 50 world items, like tombstones and stuff. Yeah, so I would have just gotten it if I didn't already have it.
Arcane power.
And just like the Killing's Frenzy or whatever, it's just based on how many, it's just, you have to do something to keep it up.
When King Leoric came to court, he brought many nobles with him, and nobles, oddly enough, want noble crypts. So I showed up with my shovel, thinking to make easy profit by digging a few holes. Ha! There's no stopping their demands around here. Now, I eat, sleep, and breathe dirt, it seems.
So this part is interesting. You have to go search the Chancellor's search for the Chancellor's altar beneath the Cemetery of the Forsaken. There is 3 entrances here. How this area works is this is kind of a puzzle. One of these 3 has a second floor, which is the actual location you need to get to. The other 2 are either dead ends or have their own little bonus objectives you can do. So it's just pick one and go. No achievement for getting it first try. Nothing of the sort. These are mortars, which means they just fire little random projectiles. I probably shouldn't be.
Need more time.
Just in the middle of a massive group of enemies.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
Never will worry.
Still waiting.
Also, their little death explosion can and will hurt other enemies. And there's an achievement to have it kill, I think it's like at least 10 enemies in one corpse explosion, which is pretty tricky to get. Okay, what did I get that I could use? Lowers my attack by 2, but ups my defense by a chunk. I'll keep it. Anyway, level 10, you unlock these categories. You unlock passives. These are just permanent little bonuses to your character based on which one you have equipped. You only get you only get 2 at the start, but then you unlock more later. Decrease damage by 17%, or you deal 30 additional damage to enemies further than 30 yards. And I think I got... Did I get a new rune for something? Oh yeah, I got Spectral Blade, which is a melee attack. I don't know if I'm pretty sure the overworld ones do it too. But the healing fountains that I keep using regardless of needing to use them, they will they'll refill after a while. Oh. And there's a challenge to consume. I think it's like 100, or it's like 10,000 of them or something like that. You can tell if one's refilled by looking on the minimap. Bottom right, the icon goes from being empty to full. Anyway. Shatter, frozen enemy has 100% chance of releasing another Frost Nova. And Arcane Torrent, which I will use for a second, because this thing is pretty strong, but it eats through mana. Well, arcane resources. It is pretty potent. But isn't, it's not your, you know, average everyday conceal carry spell. It eats through arcane energy.
I am unstoppable.
However, if you have the supply to feed it, it does work. Like, it does pretty good work.
How does that feel?
However, as I just said, you need to have the maintenance cost. Anyway, this was a dead end. And it did not have an event in it. Because these areas, like these ones, the crypts and whatnot, can have an event. I'm going to go through all three of them, regardless of if I find the crown. So I want to, so I can show off the events. Also, this thing has a range. You can't hit something too far away. Oh yeah, I should also point that out, because I did it once earlier. If you pick up an item that you want to use, or that the game outright just says it's better, you can push up on the D-pad, and you can decide to drop it, junk it, which is basically lets you mass sell stuff, or scrap it, but I'll go into that later, or just equip it. Slice of life. That's not the achievement that I was talking about earlier. That's, I think, use 100 of them. The one I was referring to is like 10,000. As I am mental, I do try to 100% this game with all the challenges. Some of those challenges, man.
I am unstoppable. Not ready yet.
Oh, yep. Here's a challenge. Or here's an event. So there's a couple little orbs and a ghost girl crying.
Grave robbers have defiled my tomb. Now my husband writhes in torment because I do not rest at his side. Return my bones so that we may rest in peace.
Search the funerary urns for the bones of the lady. This is an event. These just get you loot and money and all that, but they're fine. They're fun to do.
Need more arcane power.
Why are enemies appearing out of these collapsed crypts? I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to. And you have to do all of them, so it's not a matter of find the correct one. It's just do all of them.
Still waiting. Not ready. I need arcane power.
I'm slowed. Enemies can knock you back if they have like a certain effect to do so, or just a special hit. If not, or if they do that, you just you get slowed. Literally nothing I actually can legitimately use. Concentrate ice that explodes on impact, causing enemies within... I'm good on that. New passive, reduce all cooldowns. No, I'm good. I'm good for the time being. Anyway, if a crypt has an event in it, it will not have the actual exit to the second floor that you need to go to, I believe. Unless the game's outright just going to call me a liar here. But I'm fairly certain that's how it works.
Need more time. I don't have enough arcane power.
Doesn't do enough damage to kill them in one full volley. Among the elite, just kill a certain number of them. And then, yeah, that's everything.
This isn't the right crypt.
Alright, did I get an upgrade to Ray of Frost? No.
The crown must be in one of the other ones.
Okay, so yeah, I just tore through the 2 vaults, got nothing out of it. Other than XP and challenge and all that. And the game does... Son of a gun. The game does keep track of your challenges. So they... there's one for like events and all that. Campaign is just the game. General, I think, is where... Yeah, like slice of life and... Where's the actual one? Is it campaign? I gotta look in the section of the ones I've already got. Yeah, Matriarch's Bones, so yeah, just things you can do throughout the campaign. The Campagny. Okay, this one is the actual one I need to do. Meanwhile, the video's at an hour.
I need arcane power.
Kill everything. Nothing deserves life.
Not ready yet. Need more arcane power.
Everything dies. Also, when you see the enemies pop in, depending on like what ledge you're on or whatnot, that's this game having like a weird like fog of war effect. It looks ugly and it doesn't work all that well, but this game is nearly 20 years old. This game came out like 2010. Is that the hat that looks like a parka? Yeah. Oh, frozen. That's this one.
Still waiting. I've been healed. Not ready yet.
You do also, if you're in the terrain to be frozen by a frozen enemy, you do take a little bit of damage, which is a kind of stupid way to indicate to you that you're within the range to take damage by damaging you.
Your grave awaits. I don't have enough arcane power. Need more time.
No. Molten.
I am unstoppable.
Molten, I think, or Molten, I think, is just a,
Nicely done.
they continue, they'll just leave, like, fire on the ground. Got a new category I'm gonna have to detail in a second. Or a new skill, rather. I got B button stuff, which is just you make shields for the wizard. Run yourself in a barrier of ice that reduces melee damage, and melee damages or attackers are chilled or frozen. Lasts 10 minutes upon being used. Got diamond skin, don't care about it. Because diamond skin is practically useless. You do get an achievement or a challenge or whatnot if you keep one of these barriers up for, is it 20 minutes? Which just basically means you have to use it when it's about to run out twice in a row. Man, could this have been like the worst layout?
This looks like a crypt fit for a chancellor. The crown must be there.
Does it? It's destroyed and there's urns everywhere.
Still waiting.
Yeah, a lot of tough enemies do just have the ability to yank you towards them like that. Normally, I think the modifier is called Vortex. Oh, good. I got 2 at once. I will do that stuff later. You can identify legendary items whenever. Actually, I'll do it now. I'll show off the book later. But legendary items in this game are where the craziness gets ramped up to 11. Not only do they have really good stats, they usually have percentage-based things like gold skill damage is just increased by 9%, and some of them will have an item or a thing called an effect. That is what that orange text is. Enemies killed by cold damage have a 25% chance to release a Frost Nova. Your Hydras also deal 134 increased damage to enemies in a blizzard. Those, if you go to skills, Hydra and Blizzard. That is a build item. You don't have to use the build that a legendary item upgrades in order to get effect out of the legendary item. However, it does. They do usually try to cater around a legendary or build specifically. So you do, you know, killing enemies with cold causes a Frost Nova. Your Hydra does more damage if an enemy's in a blizzard. So you cast a blizzard, pop a Hydra, and then just try to have specifically both of them be cold damage. Chance to summon a ghostly fallen champion when attacking. Which is, if I recall correctly, it's not... Oh yeah, right there. So you make a minion. And every legendary item you pick up, you permanently unlock its transmogrification. So now I do quite a bit more damage. And the interesting thing about the effects in this game, that legendary item has 3 effects on it. It's Hydras do more damage in a blizzard. Well, it's 2 effects. Enemies do more... The Hydras do more damage in a blizzard, while you know, cold damage just has a chance to refreeze enemies. Even if you cannot benefit from one of its aspects, you can still make use of the other. So you're not locked specifically into using that item. Anyway, pick up that crown and you unlock town portals. Right on the D-pad.
I am returning to town.
We'll send you back to town. You can do this at any point except for boss fights.
You found the crown. Truth be told, I didn't think you'd make it back alive. It needs repair. Should be no problem. It's good to work again. There. New as the day it was placed upon the Black King's head. I need something more than making spades to occupy my mind. I want my life to mean something.
Then help me. I will use your handiwork for great things. I'm afraid I have bad news. Your apprentice has died.
Fool boy. Hope for the worst and you will not be disappointed. Thank you for the news.
Your grandfather was King Leoric's chancellor. Tell me about him.
Not much to tell. I lived with my father in Chaldeum at the time. We heard that my grandfather stayed in Tristram until the end, trying to save lives. Don't know if he succeeded, but there it is. When the Skeleton King fell, my grandfather was dying from a sword wound. He had the crown sealed with him to keep it safe.
I studied the fall of Tristram, but it is easy to forget that it happened to real people. Your grandfather was a brave man. I am sorry about your wife, Hadric. I wish it had not come to that.
You got nothing to apologize for. She was dying and you put her down.
Hadric, it is only proper to grieve for Mira. I can't imagine your pain. I've never been close to anyone.
I don't want to talk about my wife. Dead is dead and gone is gone. Do you want work done or not?
My dearest Hadric, do not feel despair, my love. You did everything you could. Our time together meant more than words can say. But in the end, fate is a cruel mistress. Your strength is needed to end the horrors that beset this world. My final wish is that you find your path. Love always. Mira.
The unburied are formed from human corpses that were flung into mass graves without a proper burial. This hideous amalgamation of bodies decomposes together into one being, bound by some foul magic. For all my knowledge, I could only flee from it, and I would expect any other sensible person to do the same.
Demons have been known to devour their own young when no other nourishment is available. Their offspring, the imps, sometimes manage to flee and band together with other demon spawn. They rove in vicious packs, ready to descend upon the unwary traveler and rip his body to shreds with their tiny needle-sharp teeth. The tragedies in these lands have left many restless spirits in their wake, and they demand retribution. These spirits will take out their vengeance on any unsuspecting individual who may pass, for they believe that the blood of the living will yet restore the lives that were ripped away from them.
Okay. Not gonna talk to Deckard. Gonna show off salvage. To craft, Hadric will let you craft items. He'll let you craft new armors and stuff. So, like, this level 14 chainmail takes 5 reusable scrap, which is gotten from scrapping white items, and I think it's like magic dust from blue items. You'll craft it, and it will have random stats. So the next one I make won't have 16, or might not have 16 intelligence and 2 life per second. Or it might have the same thing, but more. Crafting stuff with Hadric is basically a crapshoot. It is difficult to see if you're going to get anything worth a damn. Usually you don't. Anyway, I think I could actually start using some of these items. That I got for the seasonal event. Because every year at New Year's, you could basically play through Diablo 1. You can basically play through Diablo 1, but in Diablo 3. Now, you know, actually, did I replace anything?
I've got some brand new
Yeah.
goods you might be interested.
Some items like this dagger cannot be scrapped. Not everything can be scrapped. Some items you just gotta sell. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.